show you one thing that we should all be putting onto our homesteads that most of us probably aren't, and that is a water feature. And I'm going to show you today something that I created out of an old Intex pool, something that my kids used to just play around in, turn into an awesome wildlife habitat built right here in my own backyard. So like I said, this pond started as a pool that my kids used to swim in. And when they got over it, instead of tossing it out, I decided to upcycle it into a wildlife habitat. My kid had a couple extra goldfish that are getting too big for their tank. And so we just threw them into the pool to see what would happen. I added some pond plants in there. I hooked up the pool to some catching water off of the roof of our house. And eventually it turned into this awesome wildlife ecosystem that is doubling as a rainwater catchment and a fertility bank for me to feed a lot of my fruit trees around in the garden. I threw in some water hyacinth, some lotus, and some other pond plants here to kind of create a shade in the surface of the pool here. And it took a little while for it to take, but now that it has, it's created a ecosystem where dragonflies and fish and moths and butterflies and birds and bees, they're all showing up. They're drinking the water and they're having babies, and life is thriving here. It's created a whole ecosystem of its own. And like I said, it wasn't really hard to set up. Just threw some of the fish in, they survived, and we just decided to keep it topped off with some of the extra water falling off of the roof. Then we threw some pond plants in there that we grabbed from the local river, and now here we are, a thriving ecosystem where the water in there not only adds as a backup to my water catchment, but it's rich in nutrients that I could feed to my plants around in the garden. And I get all sorts of native wildlife coming into my yard and coming to drink from this pond because there isn't much around in the neighborhood like this. I've created a habitat for native butterflies, for native birds, for native lizards, for native everything to come here and enjoy the benefits of this pond. So a water feature does so much for us by creating a peaceful retreat, adding to the sustainability of our home and the resiliency, that it's a no-brainer to install one of these systems into our homestead. I don't do anything to take care of it. There are no pumps. There's nothing involved. It just sits there. So why not create a simple wildlife habitat in your backyard by turning an old Intex pool into a pond? It's a really cool project that you can do. And if you're worried about mosquitoes, don't be. There aren't any. The dragonfly larvae, the fish, they eat it all up. So mahalo for joining me on this tour of this little rainwater-fed wildlife habitat here in my backyard. I just want to encourage more people to think about creating water features in their backyard because the wildlife loves it. And they come in here and they eat the insects you don't like, they fertilize, and they do things to help out in your garden. So why not encourage them to show up? All right, folks. If you want to learn more about any rainwater harvesting, go ahead and check those playlists out on my video. Otherwise, thanks for coming again, guys. Hui-o.